look at the bottom of your screen and let's bring you this. Manchester United have agreed a deal with Inter Milan for keeper Andre ONANA. The fee is initially 51 million euros plus up to 4 million euros of add-ons dependent on his performance and success at United. The timing and location of a medical is not yet confirmed, but the aim is for ONANA to join the United squad as soon as possible for pre-season. So confirmation there. Fees have been agreed for Andre ONANA to move to Manchester.
I think the problem for Chelsea is the Declan Rice fee going for 105. You'd put Caicedo in the same sort of bracket, so that's what Brighton are probably...
It's not English, though. Not as good.
Yeah, true.
And there it is. And there it is.
Meanwhile, Rasmus Hojlund, should we talk about him? You like him?
Yes, where's he going?
Manchester United?
Is he?
No. Who knows?
Player.
He's a player?
Oh, he's a proper player.
Oh, he's one of those.
We had this clone argument, didn't we, with... was it Stevie who had the clone argument the other week?
Well, you said that he was a clone of Erling Haaland, just not as good, which really doesn't make him a clone.
It's a bad clone.
Well, you can be a clone that can grow into Haaland because he's a player.
AI technology.
No, he's head down, he's fast, he's direct, he's got a good first touch, plays the game well, good age 20. I think the schooling that he's had under Gasperini, I think it's a very good schooling for a youngster. And I think it's only a matter of time before he moves to one of the bigger clubs. And
so they've obviously spent money on ONANA, on Mount. Have they got any sort of funds left?
Well, this was the whole thing. I take you back to the 120 million budget that they had for the summer, right? So 60 million went on Mount. Some 50 million is going to go on ONANA. Obviously, you're not going to get Hojlund for 10 million, but you have to factor in sales as well. So if they can get a fee for Dean Henderson,
Fred,
if they can,
Tominay.
Yeah, some people. I would keep them both at this stage, just because you are a little bit undermanned in that area of the pitch. But yeah, but there are guys you could go. Alanga, I think you'd hope to shift. Can you scrape together enough money there to make it work for Hojlund? I'm not sure. I think Henderson's a big one. I think that we're talking 30 million for him. Mm-hmm. If they can get 30 million for Henderson, then you're probably halfway there. Chuck in the 10 million residual. Maybe somebody feeling charitable gives you 10 million for Alanga. And that's before we open the Harry Maguire can of worms.
Oh, so you can sell him. Yes,
then you can buy Hojlund.
Exactly.
Yeah. Where do we stand on this potential transfer right now with Harry Kane?
Look, there's still quite a lot of noise coming out of Bayern Munich. Everybody knows that Bayern Munich want to sign him, but if they want him, they have to offer what he is worth. Otherwise, there is next to no chance of Spurs selling him. We heard over the weekend from the Bayern Munich honorary president, Uli Hoeneß, saying that he's very confident that Bayern are going to get him. He said that apparently Harry Maguire had signalled in talks that he wants to move to Bayern Munich. Harry Kane had signalled in talks that he wants to move to Bayern Munich. And he said that if Kane is true to his word, if he stands by his decision, then he would become a Bayern Munich player. And apparently he is told Bayern Munich that one of the reasons he wants to move to Germany is because he could play in European football in Champions League, which he can't at Spurs. So we continue to get all these stories coming out of Germany, but the bottom line is Harry Kane is a Spurs player and Spurs want him to sign a new contract. So it's still very much in the balance. There was a story in the Press Association saying that Spurs had offered him a new contract, which would see him getting a big pay rise. Supposedly he's on around £200,000 a week. There's been talk that maybe his new contract would also include the possibility of him becoming a coach or a manager or a sporting director at Spurs in the future. So there's a lot for him to consider. But ultimately, the decision is down to him. If he says to Spurs, I simply will not sign a new contract under any circumstances, then you would think that they would have to try and do a deal with Bayern Munich. But again, I don't think they would let him go for less than £100 million.
OK, 100 million. Right, let's get to another striker, and that's Romelu Lukaku. OK, what's the latest on his future?
Very messy situation. He is due back at Chelsea tomorrow to train at Cobham. The first team squad will already have left to go on their US pre-season tour. I think in an ideal world, as far as Chelsea were concerned, his future would have been resolved. He would have been sold without the need for him to come back to Chelsea tomorrow. Inter Milan have made a couple of bids to sign him. Over the weekend, our colleagues at Sky Italy were reporting that Inter Milan had decided to pull out of negotiations to sign him because they'd found out that he'd been in talks to move to their great rivals, Juventus. So at the moment, Juventus are the ones who are the favourites to sign him. I think he would cost around £35 million. He does have an offer from Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia as well. But what's clear is I don't think he's ever going to play for Chelsea again. And as far as Chelsea are concerned, they've sold a lot of players this summer. They've done some very, very good business. They want to sell Lukaku as quickly as possible as well. But their valuation has to be met.
OK. Some fresh information concerning Harry Maguire today, one day after he was stripped of the captaincy by Eric Ten Hag. What have we got?
Look, I think Harry Maguire will not be short of options if he decides to leave Manchester United. As you mentioned, he was told yesterday that he's no longer going to be the United captain. I don't think that news came out of the blue. I think he had a feeling that it was coming. There was a story in the media, I think a week ago, which I think he was aware of, that he may be losing the captaincy. Going forward, as far as he's concerned, he will always give 100% for Manchester United every day, whether he's playing or not, in training as well. He's fought very, very hard to get to the top of world football. He's been through a lot of adversity. He's not going to quit now. I think it would be fair to say, reading between the lines, that he's unhappy, he's angry about what has happened. And I suppose he probably feels as though he's effectively been put up for sale. He's somebody who's very well respected in the United dressing room and also in the England dressing room. He also has to think about his international career, because I think Gareth Southgate has made it clear to him that if he wants to keep his starting place in the Euros next summer, then he needs to be playing regularly. I suppose the good news as far as he's concerned is that he will not be short of options, despite some of the crazy, disgusting things you read on social media, the way he's ridiculed and targeted within the football world. He is very, very well respected. People are very well aware of his quality, his talents, and also his leadership qualities. People have short memories because just a few months ago, he was in the Sky Sports team of the Qatar World Cup. A year before that, he was in the official UEFA team of the Euros. So he's still got a lot to offer. It might not be at Manchester United, but he's going to take his time, consider his options, and he's not short of options. OK.
And you've also got a couple of bits of news on Fulham. Right, what can you tell us?
Yeah, good news for Fulham supporters, because Willian is very, very close to agreeing to sign a new 12-month contract. He's had offers from other clubs as well. He turned down a very, very lucrative offer from Saudi Arabia. It's been well documented that he was in advanced talks about moving to Nottingham Forest as well. I think that is an offer he seriously considered, because he's got a lot of respect for Forest, a lot of respect for their owners as well. I think there have been some suggestions, actually, that Forest were offering him more than he will be getting at Fulham. But as far as Fulham are concerned, he's very settled in London. He loves the club. He loves working with Marco Silva as well. He wants to build on the success of last season when Fulham finished in 10th place. And I've also been told, actually, that he was contacted personally by the manager of a top Premier League side who was interested in signing him as well. Nothing untoward about that, of course, because he was a free agent, because his contract at Fulham had run out.
Now I'm intrigued. Now you've got me now. I'm going to write a list and cross the names off as I go down. I've got me puzzled. Carve?
There's one more, actually.
Oh, is there?
Sorry, I forgot. Fulham are also in talks to sign Benfica centre-back Morato. He is a young Brazilian international, plays for Brazil's under 20s. He wants to move to Fulham. He's told Benfica that he wants to move to Fulham. I think Fulham are willing to pay around £19 million. That will not be enough. Benfica are a difficult club to negotiate with, as Chelsea found out in January when they were trying to sign Enzo Fernandez. But Marco Silva wants the player, and I think talks are ongoing, but Fulham really do want him. Benfica centre-back Morato.
Welcome Manchester United News Channel, the home of Red Devils fans. Harry Maguire wants his £10 million a year Man United contract to be paid up before he quits this summer. The centre-back, 30, has been stripped of the United captaincy after talks with Erik ten Hag, and is set for second-string status if he stays at the club. United are willing to sell Maguire at a cut price fee of around £35 million, and there is interest from Premier League clubs. West Ham are among those keen on a deal, but the England international's £190,000 a week salary is a major hurdle for them and other suitors. The Irons are not willing to match that contract, or anywhere near, to get a deal done. It means Maguire, who has 2 years left on his United deal, would have to take a huge pay cut to leave. Sources say the defender wants paying off to leave United, or he could be willing to sit out his contract and wait for his chance under Ten Hag. He made 31 appearances across all competitions in the 2022-23 campaign but started in just 16 of those outings. Ten Hag has preferred Rafael Varane, Lisandro Martinez, Victor Lindelof and even natural left-back Luke Shaw to Maguire since taking charge last summer, 2022. The England international was initially indispensable after joining the Old Trafford club for a reported £80 million in 2019. Subscribe to our channel and activate the bell so you don't miss any news.